Well, what do we have here? The Fed raised the rates by 0.25%, 25 basis points, like I called it. Guys, look, the writing was on the wall, right? The writing was on the wall. This Fed that sits on the fence, that doesn't want to take the big steps that I would love for him to take. He came out with some reasons of why he went ahead and stuck to 25 basis points when he normally said 50 basis points. And it won't surprise you. It's not like some nuclear bomb here decision. It's exactly, if you've been watching my videos, you know exactly what it is. But let's jump into it. My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. I really appreciate all the support. It says here, Fed raises rates by a quarter. Guys, look, like I told you guys before, this wasn't a big surprise. We knew what exactly was going to happen. Now that this whole turmoil with the banking and financial things that are currently happening right now, the Fed was going to get a lot of pressure from these banks, from these hedge funds saying, please, don't raise the rate. You're killing our business. And we knew that he was thinking to himself, how do I not crush them and give them what they want? But then also, if I jump off of this whole inflation fight story, then no one's ever going to believe me ever again. So he went ahead and said, I'm just going to go right down the middle. We were going to do 50 basis points, and I'm just going to go right down the middle, do 25 basis points. And that's exactly what happened, guys. It's not a really big surprise, but he gave some reasons why he went ahead and made these decisions. And I think it's super important for you to listen to this information because this tells you exactly where we're headed, guys.
I do my homework.
Exactly, right? So this will give you the inside scoop of what this Fed is thinking. And this is super important for your jobs. This is super important for housing market. This is just super important if you want to purchase an apple for under $1. If you want to be able to buy, a carton of eggs that doesn't cost $14. I was just at the gas station the other day and I saw Arizona iced tea for $4 and they got 99 cents on the can. If you want to buy an Arizona tea for 99 cents again, this is the information that you need to listen to, guys.
I thrive for excellence.
Let's look at these talking points that the Fed said, these highlights of his 40-minute conference call that he did. It says here, by raising rates, the Fed is continuing its fight against inflation by holding off on a more aggressive rate move that might spook markets after weeks of bank turmoil. So, the Fed is basically saying that this whole situation that's happening with banks right now, that originally he was going to do 50 basis points, but the banking turmoil, the closing of the SVB Bank, First Republic, all of this stuff that's currently going on with these regional banks, bank runs and all that other stuff, he is saying that this turmoil has done half of his job, that this is causing this dismay in the market, and there's no need for him to do 50 basis points because this turmoil has really done the job of the other 25 basis points that he would have done anyway. And do I really agree with that? No, not really. Not really, because a lot of the issues that come along with the banking situation have a lot to do with management, have a lot to do with equities, especially when it comes to the SVB situation. And at the end of the day, too, what does the banking SVB bank run scenario have to do with stopping individuals from spending, from getting inflation down? I don't think that it truly has a direct effect on that. It has zero, in my opinion. Now, I do understand that some people are going to say in the comments that, there's a 10 degrees of this affecting this, affecting this, affecting this, affecting that. I get it.
I know. innuendo.
But I'm talking about a direct effect, in the banking system that's going on currently with the banking system, which you have to remember, people are pulling their money out. No one's losing money, quote unquote, especially since the FDIC is doing unlimited insurance, at least on the SVB scenario, right? You know, we're gonna talk about that later. But the point is, no one's really losing money, but the banks, they're causing a credit crunch, but that's about it. It doesn't really stop the inflation. I'm still gonna be paying $4 for an apple, no matter if the banks go out of business or not. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. It says officials forecast that they will be lifting borrowing costs to 5.1% in 2023. That is unchanged from the December forecast and implies one more rate increase for this year. Now, this is good information to know, because what that means is that if we're at 25 basis points now, then what is the next one going to be? Probably equal or less. That is what it's looking like, because for some odd reason, this Fed is expecting more situations to happen with the banks to kind of help along and chug this whole, recession thing down the line. It's supposed to bring down housing prices. It's supposed to bring down inflation prices. And I just don't see it. I think what's going to happen, this is my opinion, right, is I believe he's going to see the data and see that this using the bank crisis and then him doing little tiny rate increases, he's going to see that data and he's going to go,
inflation isn't going down. It's really no I gotta do rate increases. Oh man.
That's what I think is going to happen, but I've been wrong many times. So let's see what else it says. It says inflation has surprisingly been stubborn, which Mr. Powell refers to repeatedly during the news interview. Well, I mean, when you're doing little tiny increases and then looking at the data, which, and saying, oh, well, yeah, it's not affecting it. Of course, it's stubborn. You're not putting the nail in the coffin. He's not doing that, guys. He's doing small increases looking at the data because he doesn't want to have the finger pointed at him and say,
you caused a recession, Mr. Fed. You caused a recession. It was you. It was this moment when you did a 50 basis points or 100 basis points. That's when you caused the recession to happen.
He doesn't want that finger pointed at him. But, hey, Mr. Fed, let me tell you something. We're already in that position right now. We're already in a recession. You guys are using these CPI numbers and we really know what the numbers are. They're not looking good. They're not looking good, and the small increases aren't helping. And then it says the bank turmoil is expected to slow lending and credit availability. That could cool the economy. By how much is uncertain? Well, of course it's uncertain, but let's take a look at this, guys. The bank turmoil is expected to slow lending and credit availability. Remember? Remember when I told you guys that you need to have everything in order? You need to have an emergency savings account. You need to have liquidity. You need to have your credit together. If you want to take advantage of the housing market and prices going down, in that scenario, when things go down, credit is crunched. Credit availability gets smaller. Remember when I said that? I've been preaching it over and over and over. Do not sit on the sidelines and do nothing. Sit on the sidelines with a purpose. And we see here that the government and lending institutions, because I promise you this, the JP Morgans, the Bank of Americas, the Saks, all the hedge fund managers, they're getting together and they're saying, yep, we're going to start lending a lot less. We're going to start taking our risk box and making it smaller. That's what they're saying. So the Fed isn't getting this information out of nowhere. They're getting it directly from the banks, who you would get your money from to get this house, to get the house that you want. And I've been telling you guys over and over and over that that's what's going to happen. And hopefully you've taken my advice and you've gotten your stuff together. Because if you haven't, it's going to be very, very, very hard for you to go into buying a new home and thinking that you're going to take advantage of 20, 30, whatever it is, based on your location, price cuts, and then think you're going to go to the bank and get that same letter of intent, that same pre-approval that you got a year ago and say, can I get that back again? It's going to be hard. It's gonna be hard. Then it says officials see inflation easing to 3.3% by the end of the year, down from 5.4% in the last reading. Now they're probably looking at the core inflation on that one, and they're saying it's gonna get down to 3.3%. That, hey, we all could be positive. Everyone can be positive. I hope it gets down to 2%. But, the way that things are going, the way my account is set up, I don't know. It ain't looking like that. The numbers don't make sense. The math don't math. It's crazy that he really believes by the end of the year that it will be that. Now, it can get there if he takes the appropriate measures and is a little bit more aggressive with inflation. But again, this is my opinion. Maybe we might get there. I think that's really highly positive. The bank turmoil is expected to slow down lending and credit availability that could cool the economy. They're expecting this whole bank situation to pretty much solve all of the rate increases, the inflation. They won't have to do any of that. That this will fix itself now that we have this huge crisis going on, which is nuts. And then right after that, it says, but how much is uncertain, Mr. Powell said, which is nuts. So on one hand, they expect it to take care of all of their problems, but then on the other hand, they're uncertain if it will do it and by how much.
I'm tired of the clown show, tired of it.
So they're optimistic that this will help, but they're unsure. So they're putting the economy at risk, and they're just gonna, hope to see that this works out. The upshot, the Fed thinks it has more work to do in wrangling rapid price increases, but it is also navigating a fraught moment as problems in the banking system hang over the economy and the central bank's policy path. Now, once again, it seems like this whole situation is just on the back of this whole banking situation. They're expecting the banking situation to really take care of everything that, when it comes to inflation, to take care of the unemployment problem. They're expecting this whole banking crisis with a little sprinkle of, 25 basis points to really solve everything. How many rate increases? Supposedly one. How big will it be? Who knows? But they're hoping that this whole thing will kind of solve itself. That is the problem that I'm having with this whole inflation talk, a whole economy, is that the banking situation does not have a direct effect on inflation. In my opinion, maybe someone in the comment section can tell me where I'm wrong on this. How is it a direct correlation to inflation? Inflation is still going to be high. We still have to stop spending and demand. And from my understanding, credit card companies are lending credit card debt out like it's hotcakes, like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So if you can explain to me how laying all of the weight on the banking crisis is going to save the economy and put us in a better position, then, explain it to me. Make the math. Make it make sense to me. So I would like to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of the 25 basis points? Do you think he should have went higher? Do you think he should have paused or cut rates? Let me know in the comment section. I really want to hear from you guys. And what do you guys think is the next thing that's going to happen? And as always, you won't get all of your content from this one video. There's so much more information. I need you to watch this video here. It will help you with your housing market, help you with financial news, and get into your first rental property. I promise you the information will be gold. See you on the next one. Thanks.